In my last video, someone shared how hard it is to price pottery at markets. And honestly, I could relate to how hard it is. Between booth fees, taxes, packaging, and just trying to even pull people into your booth can be a lot. And I also see how pricing lower just feels like it's the only option, especially when we have a higher priced option, maybe $40. If it doesn't even move from the shelves, we have to bring it back home at the end of the day. So I wanted to talk about this and share my experiences, my perspectives, and I also kind of just want to be transparent about how much I've made at craft fairs. Okay, so let's dive in. Oh, and by the way, my name is Tova, owner of Shop St. Florence. I started teaching pottery classes for a little over a year, and I've been documenting that experience here on this channel, but I've been making pottery for over 10 years now. And I would actually just like to say, just flat out, the most I've ever made at a fair was $1,400. The least I've made was closer to $400. And when we factor in the take-home amount, that's kind of all over the place. So I started selling at craft fairs in 2018, and I actually started selling at some really big fairs like Renegade Craft Fair and the San Francisco one. That was around springtime. I did a holiday one in Austin, and I also did a West Coast Craft holiday fair. Each of those weekends I made around $400 to $700 for the whole overall fair. So it wasn't a lot of money. And at the time I also did a Renegade Craft Fair under another artist name who collaborated and brought in Black artists into one booth, which was kind of cool. And also just like, I loved just the dynamic of being in that space and feeling included. So at the time I was very excited to even just be in such a hot market fair. It's such a big deal to be at one of those really large craft fairs. But however, I didn't really give small craft fairs even just a thought. Back then, even just being at a large craft fair, I felt like there was less competition. So it was a great place to be at. But let's talk about the downsides. So the booth fees. I don't remember exactly how much I paid back then, but most recently I paid a half a booth, and the cost of that was around $450, I think it was. And that doesn't even cover the cost of sales. So that alone just pretty much is like, I'm going there and knowing that I'm not gonna get anything in return. And even just like looking back then, I look back and I see how fearless I was at the time. I was very much new to ceramic arts, and I was very much a novice potter, but I still showed up. I showed up and I was very excited to be there. Two things I did that helped my journey back then. First, I made my booth feel like home, and I pretty much pulled in my hallway rug. I took apart my bookshelf and took it there. I also brought, what else did I bring? I brought a table, I brought my chair from my living room. So I pretty much brought my home and made my booth feel very cozy and very much like my home. I also made molds, so I mass produced my pottery. My goal was to pour 2 to 4 cups per day for a good month. And that kind of got me a good supply of small colored clay cups and a lot of different glazes and styles. That consistency made my work look really good and very clean, even just for a beginner level ceramicist. My last big market was actually 2024. I did do Renegade. That was my first time coming back to Renegade after a very, very long time. I did a half booth again, and I made, actually, I feel like it was less than what I made in 2018, even though I feel like I've developed my skills in my pottery journey. And I would say even my booth display has evolved and changed over the years. And I even see now how people style their booths. It feels like it's kind of a level up, or it feels like it's extra now. It feels like it's a whole aesthetic. It's kind of hard to compete. This time around, I hand built and thrown all of my pieces, so I didn't make anything by molds. And I noticed 2 doors down from my booth was another ceramic artist who made everything by molds, and their work was stunning. It was beautiful. So I felt a little bit jealous, just to say the least. But yeah, their stuff was beautiful, and there was a lot of competition, I would have to say. And I feel like because my booth was so small that some of my friends even noticed that it was hard to even spot my booth when you're walking down with a whole bunch of people. And it almost makes sense in these types of scenarios now to get a large booth, just a normal size booth, so people can actually see your work and see your stuff like right there up front. When you have a shared booth, you kind of have to pull people into your booth. That's another hard thing. It's like, how do we get people to come inside of the booth and feel comfortable to, that's just like another thing all on its own. For the years, I would say I've done fairs on and off, but I didn't make it like a priority. So what I noticed was in spring fairs, my pieces didn't really sell well, so I stopped selling at markets in the spring. I also noticed for holiday markets, the fairs have to be after Thanksgiving. Usually the fairs that are around like November 1st don't really sell well because people aren't really in the spirit of buying gifts yet, and so it's just too early. I also realized how hard it is to do markets alone, and so I recommend if you're doing a market to do it with a partner, have a business partner or a friend to help you do it, because like what if you gotta go pee, or what if you need food during it? It just felt really hard to do it on my own, and I just recommend just like to have a support system there to help you during these booths. But this is just acknowledging again, time is money. This is kind of the reason why I pulled back from all this, because the time it took all of the booth setups to get me there, and having space in a vehicle is also another thing of getting my house into a car. But I would say these days I approach markets differently. I focus on smaller and local fairs, and I even bring mugs and tableware to my events, but I also focus on smaller items where I know people are looking for holiday gifts. So what I've kind of made before were ornaments, magnetic letters. What else did I make? I don't know, just like small little things, trinkets here and there, jewelry dishes that people were willing to buy. You know, it's like, what is someone willing to buy for a friend? So honestly, I don't think I'm going to prioritize selling at larger markets. Maybe I'll do one-offs every few years. And I think now that I've learned, I actually really enjoy the smaller markets. The craft fair where I made $1,400 was a local small craft fair. It was a holiday fair. It was one day and 6 hours. Oh wait, I want to say too, the demographics. Some of these larger craft fairs, it's kind of like a younger crowd, and so maybe they might not have the budget for a more expensive art gallery type of piece. But at a local market, I'm learning about my community. It's a demographic that's an older crowd, and they might have the funds to buy multiple pieces or buy like a full tablescape. And so that's where I realize I actually thrive at smaller markets, and I'm learning about my community. I'm meeting neighbors. This is the space that I feel the most comfortable, and I enjoyed being at. That local craft fair was $40 for an entrance fee. It definitely felt like it was a missed opportunity all those years not acknowledging going to smaller craft fairs. If you are interested in maybe me giving a breakdown of my take-home costs from craft fairs, let me know, and I'll share a video if that's something that you're interested in. But I'm kind of curious from you. Do you sell at craft fairs? What do you sell? Let me know. I kind of just like these videos of just being transparent and learning what people are doing to make things work, make their creative practice work. And that all said, it was great hanging out with y'all. I'll see you again on the next one. Bye.